Today I am putting up the Phoxx 1 ultralight version for the first time. In the bag there comes a little repair kit with seam sealer in it, the inner, the poles, a big arch pole and one small one for the end, 10 pegs, the sort of Y-style groundhog pegs made of aluminium. They're actually lighter than the mini groundhogs, they're about 8 grams each. And then your outer as well here. You slide the big arch pole into this sleeve here. It's quite hard to do with one hand. And once the arch pole's in, you put it into this little bit here. So that is the tent with 2 pegs at either end, 1 peg at either end of the arch. I've not put the second pole in yet, or the end peg, or the guy lines, that's next. So I've just noticed this is a bit weird. The line locks don't really want to grip this guy line. If you just slips, it doesn't want to go in there. I don't know if they've used the wrong guy rope or the wrong line lock size, but it's very, very tight. It can be forced in. I had the trouble right at the end there as well. Yeah, not a complete deal breaker, but that's the first time I've ever had that happen with a tent. Yeah, once the peg's in and the tension's in it, it does slip in quite nicely. You just want to make sure that's well seated inside there. That's the outer fully set up now. Tension this a bit more. It's the outer fully set up. Because it's such a thin material, it's quite stretchy, so actually quite pleased with that for a first ever pitch. Yeah, I've not connected the inner yet. I would have liked to have seen the guy lines be slightly longer with a tent like this. Just if you're in particularly bad soil or it's rocky ground and you can't exactly get the pegs at that length, the guy line's going to be pretty close to the tent. And with these styles of tent, I feel the longer the guy lines the better. I might change the guy lines later. That's the ends all attached. They've got these buckles on them to attach, which are actually really quite nice. Very easy to use. Hello, what do you think of the new tent? What do you think? Okay, so that's it all attached on the inside now. The round the bottom, like I said, has these buckles. Round the top has these smaller clips, which are just, they're quite easy to use. I don't know how robust they are, but they feel okay right now actually. It has this zip here. Oop, using the wrong one. There we go. That's a zip for each direction, which is quite nice. Oh, maybe this needs a wee peg out as well. That's what the 10th peg is for. Okay, 10th peg in place. Now I can, oh, not so easily undo that. That zip is stiff. Maybe that's my poor pitching. Hopefully they'll loosen with time. It's a pretty roomy one-man tent actually. The footbox end is quite narrow. I've had smaller tents than that. There's enough space inside if you had to bring gear inside, that's fine. There's a big pocket on the side there. I like that it's got this solid inner halfway up. That found that makes quite a big difference with wind coming underneath the tent, not hitting you so much. It's got this double zip up here, which is great, and it's got quite a big overhang. I don't like how much stress this is putting on the zip. It would have been nicer to have a buckle here maybe. See, that's starting to pull apart. Yeah, that Velcro's not gonna add any structure to it really, is it? But this bit up here is great. That's a massive, that's it, roughly horizontal. In calm weather you could have that super open, give you a load of ventilation. In quite bad weather you can still have it relatively open, which is great. It doesn't pitch super low to the ground, but it's not extremely high off. It's probably quite good for British weather. The end is quite good as well. It's got this mesh. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a mesh panel that sort of allows some airflow through the entire tent. Yeah, not too bad for the money. So this tent with all the pegs, inner, outer poles, comes in on my scales at 790-ish grams. That's not including any of the bags, the repair kit. I've not seam sealed it yet either. But compared to something like the Lanshan 1, which you need a hiking pole for, it's lighter, I'd say. I even quite like the colour of this tent. I think it's quite smart. Hello. Feels about as sturdy as it looks, to be honest. It's not the most sturdy tent in the world. I'm not taking this up hills. This is going to be more for bike packing. Also because it's a Silnylon, it's very, very slippery, which allows it to be packed really, really small. I tried squashing it down in the stuff sack it came in, this here, and it takes up like a third of that when it's all pressed down with all the poles in it. Maybe even less. It's you can really, really, really cram it in there. So bottom of a pannier or a front rack that would fit in perfectly. If you're hiking and don't take trekking poles, this is a great option. But somewhere like this where you're not going to be super exposed would be perfect. I would not be taking this up mountains. I'm going to go over a few concerns. I hate when people do this and they're like, oh, it doesn't feel durable, Like, just let me know if it was actually durable or when it failed, because feeling durable is not the be all and end all. This here seems quite well reinforced, but only right where this is. There's no like cup for it. So it's actually quite easy for this to slip out. I don't know if you can see that. And then it's there's metal on the nylon there, and I worry about if it's windy all night, that rubbing through. It doesn't feel super like in place. It's fine when it's all on the reinforcement though. The stuff sack itself, the buckle, the stitching for the buckle came undone just with me carrying it around the house. I'm hoping this is just like a one-off manufacturing error, but it doesn't fill me with confidence in terms of the craftsmanship of the overall tent. I know this isn't the tent, but still. And this bit here under tension, it's not even that much tension. You can see I can still stretch this quite a lot. It's like this doesn't really want to go the whole way down to the ground, and then it puts a lot of strain on this bit. And it's only reinforced with more material. It's not like a thick reinforcement patch here. It just looks like it's double the material. So we'll see. Again, I don't want to say it's not durable because I've not used it long enough to tell if it's durable. The material feels very good. I've got the Gossamer Gear Solo Tarp, which is a similar denier nylon. This feels like a similar quality. I know it's quite hard to feel the strength of a nylon based on your hands alone, but yeah, it feels good. All the stitching along the main bits, it's maybe not the neatest in the world, but it does look strong. That just looks like this tab stitching as opposed to the actual panel stitching. There's another one there, it looks relatively neat, I'd say. It's certainly better than ice, oh that's for sure. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people online talk about how, oh, I'll stick to my original Phoxx, I'll stick to this tent, I'll stick to that. This is not sort of fulfilling the same purpose as the original Phoxx. This is a very, very light tent. It's not meant to be taking an absolute beating. It'll keep you dry. It'll deal with moderate wind, but if you're taking this up a mountain and expecting it to perform like a Hilleberg, I'd say that's on you. No one expects like a tarp and bivvy to be super windproof. all of a sudden expect every single tent at every single price point to be the most bomb-proof tent in the world and to be super lightweight. It's unrealistic. So just know what you're buying before you buy it. It would have been cool if they could also add a little bit here, maybe here, to the outer. It might have affected the way the outer is, but these are quite taut now. And even still pulling this up, that's quite a stiff zip. It's not the easiest zip in the world to use. There's sort of a technique to it. Anyway, where's that dog? Nan, let's go. Right, let's go. In the tent, let's go. What do you think, bud? Right, I am 5'11". What height are you, Nan? Down? Good girl. Is that big enough for you? Just about? Like I said, I'm 5'11". There is less room at the foot box than I first thought. So that's, if I go like that with my feet, I've not got particularly big feet. The foot box will definitely be touching the inner. This is also before a pad is in here as well. So if I've got like an inflatable pad, my feet are going to be there. Definitely going to be touching that. And here's me at the same point. So it is quite a tight shelter in terms of length. There's a lot of floor space, but this comes in quite, I don't know, it's hard to get the angle right on camera here. But this is, again, I'm not on an inflatable pad yet. With a down sleeping bag, it's going to be pretty close to that inner. Not a deal breaker, but just something to bear in mind. There is quite a bit of space side to side. I use a regular width sleeping pad. I know a lot of people like a wide one, but there's loads and loads and loads of room in here. And the vestibule space is pretty generous, I'd say. Plenty of space for a pack. That's it from the inside. Again, this is the first time I've pitched it, so it could absolutely be my problem. And surprisingly easy to get in and out of for how small it is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. Give me a wee like if you did, and please feel free to ask any questions, because I couldn't find anything much about this tent online. The Millets Blacks websites are never very in depth, so if I can answer any questions or help in any way, let me know. Cheers, thanks.